Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order at 5:34. Mr. Arredondo, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Yes, please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. President Joey Acuña Jr.,
Here.
Vice President Jocelyn Vargas.
Here.
Silvia Paz. Trinidad Arredondo.
Present.
Valerie Garcia. Jesus Gonzalez. Here. Thank you.
Thank you. We got a quorum. Item 2.1, closed session public comments. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the governing board regarding any closed session item within the board's subject matter jurisdiction. Please complete a request to address the governing board form and hand it to the recording secretary. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes per person with a maximum of 20 minutes to each subject matter. Item 2.7, public employment, Carissa Carrera, CVTA.
Good evening, Carissa Carrera, CVTA President. This is technically regarding public employment, which you'll hear at the end. On September 11th, a letter was sent by Dr. Esparza and the board via Parent Square about keeping our CVUSD students and staff safe. In that letter, 2 statements were made, which I would like to address tonight. The first one is every school in CVUSD follows California Ed Code 32281A, which requires them to maintain a comprehensive school safety plan designed to address campus risks, prepare for emergencies, and create a safe, secure learning environment for students and staff. So that's true. All sites do have one of those plans. I can say with confidence, however, that parents, staff, and students are not aware of the plan details, so how safe can our campuses actually be? Additionally, Dr. Esparza failed to mention in this letter that CVUSD is not following Labor Code Section 6401.9, which requires the district to maintain an effective written workplace violence prevention plan. Admittedly, this plan relates to keeping employees safe, but if the employees are kept safe, then so are the students. Why aren't you following Labor Code regulations as well as Ed Code? And the second statement is the safety and well-being of students and staff is your highest priority. I question this statement. Board Policy 450 states, and I quote, "The governing board recognizes that students and staff have the right to a safe and secure campus where they are free from physical and psychological harm." This next sentence is the most important. "The board is fully committed to maximizing school safety and to create a positive learning environment that includes strategies for violence prevention and high expectations for student conduct, responsible behavior, and respect for others." Are you fully committed? Whose definition of safe and secure campuses do you consider when following this board policy? Clearly, it's not the definitions of students, parents, and staff who have asked for increased safety measures for at least 2 years. Is it the opinion of certain board members that defines safe and secure campuses? We know you don't want to increase any safety measures lest our schools seem like prisons, and you think that RSOs on campus won't stop a shooting, even though basic logic tells us they could, and at the very least, they could prevent a shooting from becoming a massacre. I have honestly lost track of the numbers of fights, knives, razor blades, and threats that have occurred so far this year, 6 weeks in, and we cannot even keep track anymore. Can you please explain to us, the employees, along with students, parents, and community members, how exactly are you maximizing school safety when you sit up there and make fun of anyone who dares to say that you need to do more? From this side of the dais, it certainly looks like you are doing the minimum to keep our schools safe. And I'm out of time to talk about the employment part.
Thank you. Moving on, can I get a motion to enter into closed session, please?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
All right.
All those opposed? The motion carries. We will be back at, I believe, 7 o'clock? 7 o'clock. Second to return into open session. Motion carried 4-0. Can we get the announcement of actions taken in closed session?
Yes, the board took the following action in closed session: approved expulsion case number 24/25-001 for stipulated expulsion. Motion was made by trustee Gonzalez, seconded by trustee Arredondo. Motion carried 4-0. The board took action during closed session to appoint Pedro Beltran as elementary assistant principal at Mecca Elementary School, effective September 27, 2024. Principal? Oh, yes, assistant principal? Principal. Oh, so then it's incorrect here. Okay, I'm sorry. Pedro Beltran as elementary principal at Mecca Elementary School, effective September 27, 2024. Motion was made by trustee Gonzalez, seconded by trustee Arredondo. Motion was unanimous. Last item, the board took action during closed session to appoint Carmina Campos as elementary assistant principal, principal at Valley View Elementary School, effective September 27, 2024. Motion was made by trustee Gonzalez, seconded by trustee Arredondo. Motion carried unanimously. That's it.
Righty. Item 3.3, approval of agenda as submitted. We're going to add something to it.
I'd like to make a motion, sorry, and it is recommendation to walk on an item onto the agenda. It's item 2.4, MOU for transportation bidding. I need to read this out to the public. The item came to our attention after the agenda was posted, so we need to make sure that everyone understands that this is a new item. There's a need to take immediate action because we have a deadline with this MOU that needs to take place immediately. So the decision to add the item will require board approval.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda with the added item? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, we'll add that as soon as we get done with the public comments and such. Item 4.1, board notification, request to address the board. Introductory comments and requests to address the board on items on the adopted agenda and items not on the adopted agenda will be considered from the audience at this time. Please complete a request to address the governing board form and hand it in to the recording secretary. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes per person with a maximum of 20 minutes to each subject matter. Additionally, the person making the request should state his or her name and the name of the organization or group represented. Please be advised that the board is not always at liberty to answer questions right away. State law prohibits the board from taking any action on items not listed on the agenda. I have a couple. Shaughnessy Johnson, CVUSD teacher. Did I say that correctly? Sorry.
Good evening. My name is Shaughnessy Johnson. I'm a former CVUSD student and now teacher. I'm here to comment on closed session item 2.7, public employee appointment and employment. I was here at 5:30, but you did not let me speak. So I've been a teacher at Toro Canyon Middle School for 4 years now. My second year at Toro Canyon was the year Mr. Guerrero left, and I remember, I believe it was his last week at school, we all had to evacuate campus. And that was the beginning of when I no longer felt safe at school. But I kept telling myself I was safe because I am a life skills teacher and I teach students with intellectual disabilities. So none of my students are bringing weapons to school, right? They all need caretakers and extra support. But then a few months later, one of my students did bring part of a gun to school. He didn't bring a gun, but he brought part of it. That I don't think that student meant harm. I think he was taken advantage of on the bus and wanted to look cool. But still, I kept telling myself, I'm a life skills teacher, I'm safe, and that kind of took that away. On that day, security came in to search my students' backpacks while we were on lockdown, and they were all crying, saying, "Miss, am I gonna get arrested?" And they had done nothing wrong. Safety at our school is a concern. We have almost 1,000 students. We have a very busy principal and a very busy assistant principal, and we need more staff to keep us safe. We need more security. An additional assistant principal would help. I don't feel like I can ever ask them a question because they already have like 100 things on their to-do list, so I just try to figure things out as best as I can. I know school safety isn't an issue unique to CVUSD. It is a nationwide issue, and ultimately I would like to see federal action taken, but you here have power to take action yourself to keep us safe, and your actions could save our lives. So please take action to keep us safe.
Thank you. Next, Socorro Ceja. Krista Carrera.
Okay, good evening. I am reading a statement from Socorro Ceja because she could not stay. So this is her statement. She's a teacher at Toro Canyon Middle School. Today, my second period students shared that they were frightened and did not feel safe at our school due to the incident that occurred yesterday while I was absent. Yesterday, one of their classmates brought a BB gun to school, and although the gun did not have bullets, it looked like a real gun to them. They shared that the student who brought the BB gun was showing it around while riding the bus and during several of his classes. They asked why a student was able to bring a metal gun to school and not be detected. Why was he openly showing it around to the other students? One of the students pointed out that a BB gun can indeed cause great harm, and seeing it at school made him feel threatened. It is extremely concerning that one of our students was able to easily walk into our campus with a BB gun that closely resembles a real gun. It is also extremely concerning that due to our campus of close to 1,000 students, those students who have ill intentions do not hesitate to bring dangerous objects to school, knowing that we do not have the manpower to supervise every inch of our school. Although our admin team has made it a priority to be visible and supportive and have actually placed safety measures in our campus, we still feel the strain due to our already large and increasing enrollment of 991 and counting. Last year, we actually had 2 assistant principals, but it seems like this year we are back to 1. There is no talk of filling the position that was vacated at the end of last year. We would appreciate your support in ensuring that the safety of our students and staff members is given the priority it deserves. Thank you for your time and consideration. And I would like to point out that she also had item 2.7 and was here before closed session. Thank you.
Thank you. Isadora, do you want to speak?
I know, yeah.
Wasn't sure. It said if necessary. I don't know if I did something to make it necessary.
Because we do want to thank you for, first of all, good evening, everyone. We do want to thank you for bringing that item tonight for the MOU of transportation. It is something the district brought forward for not to wait for a 12-week bidding and then do it in the 8 weeks, but we just got it ratified yesterday, and if it would have waited, the deadline would have passed. So I'm taking the opportunity to say thank you, and I hope it does go through tonight, because it's really important that we're leaving with the 2 week to meet that deadline of the 8 weeks that the district wanted for it to happen. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Here we are. Board member reports. We did, I think, get some written communication for us. Board member reports. I'll start with Board Member Garcia. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who's here. I understand there were people here earlier. Sorry, I just got here. I had travel snafus, but here now. Hearing all of you, I'm definitely open to discussions about safety. I think we definitely need clear backpacks. And then it feels like every week we're having something happen, whether on school buses or on campus. The campuses, more than one. I don't like the idea of metal detectors, but if it will stop and deter some of this, I'm open to that discussion, certainly. And we hear you. I get the phone calls and text messages as well when things happen. And it's concerning, and it's just continuing. And that's what's bringing this even more to a boil, I feel like. So yes, open to discussions. Thank you.
Board Member Gonzalez.
I think it's a testament to our staff, our teachers, right? I think there's a cool culture going on. There's been a lot of cool progress. We've seen some increase in our test scores, which is exciting. I want to thank the parents that have been showing up for the parent workshops. There's been a lot of, I know after working in 100-degree weather, it's sometimes difficult to show up and participate in stuff that has to do with your child's learning, but we're seeing a lot of participation on that front. I believe that we've done an amazing job in the perpetrators on all these false reporting situations. We've been able to find where the calls are originating from. I want to thank staff for that, thank our security team, and I believe that everybody up here wants to make sure that our schools are safe, right? We all want to believe that our schools are safe. Our kids deserve a safe place to learn. The unfortunate reality is that we're living in a time where last year, 2023, we had over 650 mass shootings in this country. So that's not normal. This year, we're on pace to break that. I think we're at about 392, and I hope that we never live that here. I don't know, other than being vigilant, and if you see something, we expect the students, our teachers, to report it. Unfortunately, this type of situation, when somebody comes with malice, I think history tells us that it can get very serious very fast. In 2017, we had a guy who decided to barricade himself in a hotel room in Las Vegas. He shot 500 people and killed 50 before they got him. And so we know that all that is real. It's an unprecedented time in this country. We're the only country in the world that's living this time. We have a separation. Most of this stuff is driven by cultural differences, racism, prejudice, and unfortunately, that's just where we're at. I want to thank our security detail, our team, for being vigilant. I want to thank you, Dr. Esparza, for the work you've done with RCOE. I think I'm a bit taken back that RCOE didn't take these types of findings a little more serious, right? But I think the children need to understand the seriousness of reporting or false reporting. And I think when they do it purposefully, they need to be held accountable. And so again, Dr. Esparza, thank you for the work you're doing. I'm glad the weather is letting up a little bit. I see a lot of positive things happening here at CVUSD.
Board Member Arredondo.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your concerns to us here. So I've been, my walkthroughs have been, I've been going by, making sure to kind of see the classroom. There's a lot of great things happening, right? And I think that I was able to go to the Flying Doctors event this past weekend, and thank you to our staff that was there, and that long-time partnership with making sure that our residents have access for those medically underinsured and uninsured, and make sure that we provide services. I mean, they had a lot of different services there. Thank you to Lucy Moreno, who puts that on, along with the staff and everybody that's involved with that. Over the past week, there's definitely been some issues at some of our schools. Safety and security, again, is really, really important. It's important to all of us here, because that is, we have to make sure that we have good, safe learning environments. And I know that there's been a few serious fights that have caused some serious hurt to some people, and I have asked Dr. Esparza today during our meeting to increase security and to look at the numbers that we have at our middle schools and high schools, and to make sure that we have adequate number of security and support staff to support the staff that's already there. And I met with Dr. Esparza today and had that discussion, and I look forward to seeing what becomes of the plan, or her plan to make sure that our schools are safe, right? And that is something that's very important. The other piece that I want to address is that we're still working on is transportation, right? I did receive some calls from residents stating that their buses, and we are working on that. I had a discussion about that with Dr. Esparza this morning as well, to make sure that we are able to improve our transportation system so that our kids do not miss instructional minutes that are critical to their education. Because we know that when kids miss instructional minutes, it affects their overall learning. And so I'd like to thank you all for your patience, but I understand safety and security is important. I've said it for the past 4 years. We need to continue to make sure that our campuses are safe and our bus stops are safe, because it is our responsibility to make sure that students are safe until they open their door to their house. And that is educational responsibility of our school district. So I'd like to thank the staff that support us, that are helping us, and we are going to continue to work on this to make sure that we are safe, right? And just as a safety concern as well, I like to make sure that we have to let the public know we have 4 fields that are going through major renovations to make sure that our kids have good playgrounds to play on and good fields. And I like to just make sure that we have a safety plan for that, Dr. Esparza, because we need to make sure that our kids are safe. If our playgrounds need to be shut down for the time being, I think that we need to do that, because those fields need to be redone. Right, and so we just need to work collaboratively with our parents, our teachers, and students to make sure that we have a good plan in place. But overall, thank you to everybody here, and that's it. Thank you.
Vice President Vargas.
Yeah, I'll be brief. Thank you to everyone that provided public comment today, the staff, definitely listening to everyone's concerns. The only other thing I wanted to mention, I did also have the opportunity to attend Flying Doctors. I showed up at the tail end, and it was still, the gym was pretty full. So definitely, appreciate all staff that collaborated with and partnered to hold the event and ensuring that everyone has access to these services, because I think they're still very much needed in our community. So just want to thank everybody for that. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, thank you all for being here. I also wanted to thank everyone who was involved in the Flying Doctors project, our own staff, the community, everybody who was involved in that. That's a program that's been going on for more than 20 years. Started here at the district. It was actually the very first time the Flying Doctors actually did something domestic. By accident, we were able to get that thanks to a woman named Rosa Lucas, who is a longtime a nurse practitioner in this region, and brought it to our attention. So again, thank you everybody for being out there. I also want to echo some of the comments today. I think, you know, some of our sites, obviously some of them are being worked on, but others are starting to look better. Hopefully something that can continue and keep moving forward. I think there's some new programs that are being implemented. While we may not all agree on them, that's the direction of the board, and I think most people are moving forward and trying to work those through, and hopefully it'll help us. And again, as Board Member Gonzalez mentioned, the scores did come in a little higher. We're a long ways from where we want to be, but direction is always good. Let's see what else. We do have a tournament, a volleyball tournament, I believe, on Saturday. So if anybody wants to go out there and see the kids play volleyball for the after-school program, make sure everybody participates with that. We can get that. I'm not sure it's at Desmarash. I believe it's at Desmarash. Yes, they're nodding. It'll be on all day tomorrow. So if anybody wants to go out there and support our kids and our sites, that would be great. One last thing for me. Public service announcement more than anything else for all of those who called me or texted me, and those of you who know me who are just damn confused. I do not have a brother, just so you all know. I don't have a brother. I have a sister who got pretty pissed off, but I do not have a brother. So just in the future, public knowledge for those of you who don't know me. Superintendent?
Thank you. So it's been a great start to the new year. We've completed our first month and a half of school. We're looking phenomenal. Our schools are looking really good. Our classrooms are looking even better. Our education support services in the back have been walking classrooms and just seeing great things happening in the classroom. I want to make an announcement that on October 2nd, we will not have students in school on that day. It is a professional development day, so parents who are watching, October 2nd, we will not have students on campus. The district will be providing professional development that day, and teachers and staff, aside from academic professional development, they'll be trained on Ellis training, which is safety and security training. And so we do take safety and security seriously. We want to make sure that everybody's trained. So all certificated staff will be trained on October 2nd, as well as our paraprofessionals and our general education aides. Our security team will be working to ensure that everyone else outside of those categories will be trained. We will be having a training here in the district office as well on October 4th. I want parents who are watching, who are listening, to know that you can attend the training on October 2nd. On October 2nd, schools will be open, and our certificated staff, meaning our principals, our assistant principals, our teachers, and our counselors will be there. If you wish to come and see our safety and security training, we welcome you on that day. So please contact your principal of the school and make sure that you know if you are having your training in the morning or if your training is going to be in the afternoon, but you are welcome to see the training that is provided to the staff, again, to ensure that we are providing safety and security at all schools. We also have our school safe plans, our safety plans. And again, we are working with our administrators to make sure that the information in there, and they're very robust plans that they're getting out into the community, that our principals are sharing this with the staff, that our principals are sharing it at assemblies with the students. Some of those protocols, of course, we're not going to have the students read the entire safety plan, but we want our students to be aware. We want our students to still report, to inform us if there's anything that they see it might be dangerous or suspicious. We really need for our students to know how to do this. And so we've also asked our Director of Safety and Security and our Director of Emergency Operations to create a partnership with Riverside County Sheriffs to ensure that when I was a teacher, used to be called the DARE program. And the DARE program used to come into our classrooms, and they were officers who gave lessons on safety, security, on prevention. And so we want to see if the Riverside County Sheriffs will partner with us to start programs like this in our district. Know that I am a product of an actual event of an active shooter in Boston Public Schools, in the building, an active shooter in front of me who was a student pulled a gun out and shot somebody. And so we need to be prepared. We need to make sure that our staff is prepared on what to do in case of an emergency. We don't ever want, and I would never, ever want any of us to experience that here in Coachella Valley Unified. So we are serious about safety. We are serious about upping security and making sure that we're providing the best supports needed to keep everyone safe at our school sites. So I wanted to just talk a little bit about that. Our principals, I want to just give a recognition to many of our principals who are taking the charge, the instructional charge at their school sites, and ensuring that there's interactive learning. They're walking the classrooms and making sure that there's that learning going on, that robust learning, that students are talking to each other, that they're being able to see the facilitation of conversations in the classroom, that our students are interacting with each other, that they're not just on their devices, that they're not just sectioned off from the entire world, but that they have those collaborative conversations with their peers. And so I want to thank the principals for that. I want to thank the teachers for working with us on teacher clarity, direct interactive instruction, and making sure that we're really taking on the challenge of collective efficacy in the district so that we create that instructional coherence throughout, because we are an educational institution. And that is also very, very important, and that's our priority. And as Board Member Gonzalez stated, we have preliminary data that just came out, and so we're very proud to say that this year our English language arts and our math scores throughout the entire district have gone up, as well as our graduation rates. So hats off to everybody in the audience who's an educator, who's a support provider. We're very proud, and we're going to celebrate big when they're official. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Esparza. All right, moving on. Informational 6.1. Perantoni, public hearing for 2024 public pupil textbook materials and compliance. Is there going to be a presentation, or did we just need to open up a public hearing? Is that it? Okay. I'd like to, hang on, let me get this straight here so I can write it down. I would like to open the public hearing at, where are we? 7:49 for anyone who would like to come up and talk to us on the textbook and materials compliance. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 7:50 p.m. Having no comments. Any board member have any comments? You have a comment? No? Okay. Moving on. We're going to take up the item that we added to the agenda now. It was on item 2.4 under the closed session that came to us. It is a motion to approve the MOU with CSEA for the transportation early bidding program.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Before we vote, I just want everyone to know we did check with the attorneys. We followed all the processes, all the notices that we had to given. The board had to approve it. We approved it. So we went through our process. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 7.1, adopt board resolution number 2025-10 to remunerate Trustee Jocelyn Vargas for one of her absence.
A second.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries 401. Item 8.1. Get these things straight here. Computer problems here. Sitchin requesting approval of agreement with Riverside County Superintendent of Schools for 2025 STEM Professional Learning Services Agreement, IN 10120.
Motion to accept staff's recommendation or to approve staff's recommendation?
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 9.1, Assistant Superintendent Salcedo, approval of the fiscal year 2023-24 unaudited actuals financial report. Do I hear a motion?
I move.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 9.2, Mr. Marroquin, approval of RFP number 107, 2025 for comprehensive grant writing services and authorization to award contract to California Consulting, Inc., El Segundo, California. Do I hear a motion on this?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions?
I just had a curiosity. Are we using these grant writers to in the past year? How we use them for?
Yes, we've received millions of dollars from our grants,
Okay.
from them supporting us and writing our grants, especially like our literacy grants.
Thank you.
Mr. Cunha, can I also?
Go ahead. I was just
Yeah,
going to
just
pitch.
some feedback on this. I think it's imperative that, we have a contract, right, with this organization, and obviously they're a reputable one. I challenge staff, right, to get creative, because it basically is us asking, right? Go after the dollars for trees or whatever it may be, right? But challenge them to do work. It would be a tragedy if our staff is not utilizing the tool, right, to go after dollars. And I know we've been successful in a lot of places, but I guess I would like to say, don't be shy to ask.
Maybe a comment, do we have a process as well so that staff know how to ask or where to go to ask?
And so this is the first time, and Karen Pentney, she's in the audience out there, and she's actually now opening it up, so all of the operations directors, all the other people on the side who usually don't take advantage, because we write the grants for educational purposes only, instructional purposes, and staffing, to be able to support all of them with starting to write grants for facilities and maintenance and security and things of that nature.
I just wanted to mention the reason this is actually on the agenda is because their original contract finished. They did an RFP, and they did win the RFP. And so that's why we're starting a new contract with them, but they are the ones that we had before. But that's why it's on an action item and not simply a renewal, which would normally be in the consent calendar.
Let's give them more work.
Yeah, and again, here's the thing, and again, as the board members have said, if we give them one a month, they'll do one. If we give them 100 a month, they'll do 100, and it costs the same. So yes, let's absolutely keep them busy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.3, authorization, Ms. Torres, authorization to award bid number 173-2024 FB CNG fueling station expansion project at the Transportation Department.
All motion?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions?
Just a comment. I'm hoping with the challenges that we've had, we've had a lot of late buses, right? I don't believe any bus driver gets on a bus and says, I'm going to be late on purpose, right? But I know we've had problems in the mornings. We're getting the emails about systems not working, and I'm hoping that this backup system is going to allow our bus drivers choices so they're not having to drive down the street to fill up. So I strongly motion.
And a second, right?
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 9.4, again, Torres, authorization to purchase and install 4-foot ornamental fences at Coral Mountain Academy to comply with the state regulations.
Motion?
I'll second.
For motion and a second, any questions? Just a comment, they will be painted, correct? Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 10.1, Assistant Superintendent Makowitz, approval to pay that's an acronym, invoice dated June 19th, 2024. This is our self-insurance.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 11, consent calendar. All matters under the consent calendar, all matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the board to be routine and will be acted upon in one motion. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time the board considers the motion, unless members of the board or staff request specific items to be discussed and/or removed from the consent calendar, in which event the items will be considered separately. The superintendent, assistant superintendents of educational services, business and finance, and human resources recommend the approval of the consent calendar at this time. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Acuna, I'll motion to approve the consent calendar respecting any board member wanting to pull an item.
Have a second?
I'll second. I just have a comment if I could.
All right. Well, before you do your comment, anybody going to pull anything? We're all good?
I just want to say that I see a lot of good things here on the consent calendar, especially the CMAS for the flooring, and I know that, I think we're on our second or third round. Is it second? Second, so that's good. And I know that our schools are being worked on, so thank you for that, Mr. Alush. Nothing further, thank you.
Hurry up, I won't get out before 8 o'clock. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Item 16.2, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We are done at 7:58, folks. Go home and enjoy your families. Thank you.